Have you ever wondered what it truly means to have a pure heart in Islam? What are the signs that show your heart is aligned with the teachings of the Quran and the example of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him? In this video, we're exploring 7 powerful qualities that define a pure heart according to Islamic principles. From sincerity in worship to the ability to forgive, these traits are not only essential for spiritual growth, but also for living a peaceful and fulfilling life. How does your heart respond to challenges, blessings, and the people around you? A pure heart is one that reflects the love, mercy, and wisdom of Allah. It's free from arrogance, jealousy, and pride, and it embraces gratitude, contentment, and kindness toward others. These are the qualities that strengthen your faith and draw you closer to Allah, allowing you to experience the sweetness of true belief. Join us as we dive deeper into these 7 signs and discover how you can nurture a pure heart in your own life. Whether you're just starting your spiritual journey or seeking to strengthen your connection with Allah, understanding these traits is key to personal transformation. Let's explore these essential qualities together and see how they can enhance your relationship with Allah and with others. 1. Sincerity in worship, ikhlas. Have you ever wondered what it truly means to worship Allah with sincerity? In Islam, sincerity is the foundation of all acts of worship, and a pure heart is one that seeks Allah's pleasure above all else. This sincerity, known as ikhlas, ensures that every act of worship, whether it is prayer, fasting, or charity, is done solely for the sake of Allah and not to impress others. A person with a pure heart is not concerned with recognition, fame, or validation from the world, but instead strives to maintain a direct connection with Allah. The Quran emphasizes the importance of sincerity in worship, and they were not commanded except to worship Allah, being sincere to Him in religion. Quran 98:5. This verse reminds believers that true worship is free from any hidden motives or external influences. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, also highlighted the significance of intention in his famous saying, "The actions are judged by intentions, and everyone will be rewarded according to what he intended." Bukhari. When one's heart is pure, every action is directed toward fulfilling Allah's commands with absolute devotion and without any desire for worldly rewards. True sincerity in worship is a sign of a pure heart because it reflects an inner state of humility and devotion. Such a person performs acts of worship not to fulfill social expectations, but as a way of drawing closer to Allah. This sincerity fosters a deep sense of peace and satisfaction, knowing that every action, no matter how small, is a means of pleasing the Creator. Ultimately, a heart that is sincere in worship has no ulterior motives, only the desire to seek Allah's approval and mercy. 2. Avoiding arrogance and pride. Do you find yourself sometimes feeling superior to others, or perhaps even boastful of your achievements? In Islam, arrogance and pride are signs of a heart that is far from purity. A pure heart is one that recognizes the greatness of Allah and sees oneself as humble before His majesty. The Quran cautions against the dangers of pride and self-exaltation, reminding us that true greatness lies in submission to Allah and treating others with respect. The Quran addresses this clearly: "Do not turn your cheek in contempt toward people, nor walk through the earth exultantly. Indeed, Allah does not like everyone self-deluded and boastful." Quran 31:18. Here, Allah warns against the pride that can lead to arrogance, which not only distances a person from Allah, but also fosters division and animosity among people. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, also said, "Whoever has in his heart the weight of a mustard seed of pride will not enter paradise." Sahih Muslim, emphasizing that even the smallest amount of arrogance can be detrimental to one's faith. A pure heart understands that all success and achievements come from Allah alone, and it acknowledges that no one is superior to another in the eyes of the Creator. This realization leads to a life of humility and gratitude, where one does not boast about their accomplishments or look down upon others. By avoiding arrogance, a person demonstrates a deep awareness of their dependence on Allah and cultivates a sense of equality and respect for others. A humble heart is truly pure, as it keeps the focus on Allah and refrains from prideful attitudes that can corrupt one's spiritual state. 3. Love for others. How often do you find yourself genuinely wishing the best for others, even when they are not in your immediate circle? A pure heart is characterized by love, not just for those close to us, but for all of humanity. In Islam, love for others is not only a sign of compassion, but also a manifestation of a person's closeness to Allah. When one's heart is pure, it overflows with kindness, empathy, and a desire to see others succeed and be happy. The Quran beautifully describes the bond of brotherhood among believers. The believers are but brothers. Quran 49:10. This verse highlights the importance of love and unity among Muslims, which goes beyond family ties or geographical boundaries. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, further emphasized this point when he said, "None of you truly believes until he wishes for his brother what he wishes for himself." Bukhari. This love is not confined to mere words, but is reflected in actions, helping those in need, offering support, and always striving to promote peace and harmony. A heart that is pure does not harbor ill feelings or animosity toward others, no matter their background or differences. Instead, it nurtures a sense of care and brotherhood, putting the needs of others before one's own. This love, grounded in the teachings of Islam, elevates one's character and fosters a sense of community. A person with a pure heart recognizes that all human beings are creations of Allah, and that the true test of one's faith is the ability to love and serve others selflessly. 4. Forgiveness. Have you ever struggled with forgiving someone who has wronged you? In Islam, forgiveness is a key indicator of a pure heart, as it reflects mercy, compassion, and the ability to rise above personal grievances. A person with a pure heart understands the power of forgiveness and how it strengthens not only their relationship with others, but also their connection with Allah. Holding on to grudges or seeking revenge only poisons the heart, but letting go and forgiving is a sign of emotional and spiritual strength. The Quran commands believers to forgive one another, saying, "And let them pardon and overlook." Would you not like that Allah should forgive you? Quran 24:22. This verse emphasizes that forgiveness is not just a moral obligation, but a means to attain Allah's forgiveness. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, also said, "Whoever does not forgive, Allah will not forgive him." Sahih Muslim, highlighting the reciprocal relationship between forgiving others and receiving Allah's mercy. Forgiveness does not mean condoning wrongdoings, but it signifies releasing resentment and choosing peace. A pure heart does not carry bitterness or revenge, but instead chooses to forgive, understanding that forgiveness brings healing to the soul. This act of mercy allows the heart to remain light, unburdened by hatred, and in alignment with Allah's own infinite mercy. By embracing forgiveness, a person not only nurtures their own heart, but also fosters a spirit of reconciliation and love within the community. 5. Contentment with Allah's decree, Rita. Have you ever faced a trial and found peace in accepting Allah's will? A pure heart is one that is content with Allah's decree, trusting in His wisdom and timing, regardless of the circumstances. Contentment with Allah's will, or Rita, is a sign of spiritual maturity. It reflects a heart that understands that everything, both good and bad, happens by Allah's will and for a greater purpose. This acceptance brings inner peace and alleviates anxiety, as the believer knows that Allah is the best of planners. The Quran reminds us of Allah's ultimate control over our lives, and it is He who makes some of you rich and poor. Quran 35:32. This verse illustrates that both prosperity and hardship come from Allah, and both are opportunities for growth and spiritual development. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever is pleased with Allah as his Lord, with Islam as his religion, and with Muhammad as his prophet, will taste the sweetness of faith." Sahih Muslim. This hadith highlights that true contentment comes from embracing Allah's decisions, knowing that whatever happens is part of a divine plan. A person with a pure heart remains steadfast in the face of trials and is grateful for every blessing, big or small. Contentment with Allah's will does not mean passivity, but actively accepting and making the best of every situation. Such a person does not complain or resist life's challenges, but instead trusts that Allah's wisdom surpasses their own understanding. This peace that comes from contentment is a hallmark of a pure heart, as it reflects unwavering faith in Allah's plan. Understanding that forgiveness brings healing to the soul. This act of mercy allows the heart to remain light, unburdened by hatred, and in alignment with Allah's own infinite mercy. By embracing forgiveness, a person not only nurtures their own heart, but also fosters a spirit of reconciliation and love within the community. 5. Contentment with Allah's decree, Rida. Have you ever faced a trial and found peace in accepting Allah's will? A pure heart is one that is content with Allah's decree, trusting in His wisdom and timing, regardless of the circumstances. Contentment with Allah's will, or Rida, is a sign of spiritual maturity. It reflects a heart that understands that everything, both good and bad, happens by Allah's will and for a greater purpose. This acceptance brings inner peace and alleviates anxiety, as the believer knows that Allah is the best of planners. The Quran reminds us of Allah's ultimate control over our lives, and it is He who makes some of you rich and poor. Quran 35:32. This verse illustrates that both prosperity and hardship come from Allah, and both are opportunities for growth and spiritual development. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever is pleased with Allah as his Lord, with Islam as his religion, and with Muhammad as his prophet, will taste the sweetness of faith." Sahih Muslim. This hadith highlights that true contentment comes from embracing Allah's decisions, knowing that whatever happens is part of a divine plan. A person with a pure heart remains steadfast in the face of trials and is grateful for every blessing, big or small. Contentment with Allah's will does not mean passivity, but actively accepting and making the best of every situation. Such a person does not complain or resist life's challenges, but instead trusts that Allah's wisdom surpasses their own understanding. This peace that comes from contentment is a hallmark of a pure heart, as it reflects unwavering faith in Allah's plan. 6. Gratitude. How often do you take time to express gratitude for the blessings in your life? A pure heart is one that is constantly thankful to Allah, recognizing that every good thing comes from Him. Gratitude, or shukr, is a sign of spiritual purity because it demonstrates humility and awareness of Allah's endless mercy. A person with a grateful heart does not take their blessings for granted, but continuously acknowledges Allah's gifts, whether they are material, emotional, or spiritual. The Quran encourages believers to be thankful for their blessings. If you are grateful, I will certainly give you more. Quran 14:7. Allah promises that gratitude will lead to even greater blessings, both in this life and the hereafter. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, also emphasized the importance of gratitude, saying, "He who does not thank the people does not thank Allah." Sunan Abu Dawud. This hadith highlights that gratitude is not only toward Allah, but also toward the people who contribute to our well-being. A heart that is pure is constantly filled with gratitude, recognizing that everything it has is a gift from Allah. Whether in times of ease or difficulty, such a person remains thankful and focused on the positive aspects of their life. This attitude of gratitude leads to contentment and joy, as the believer acknowledges Allah's mercy and sees every moment as an opportunity to be thankful. Gratitude softens the heart, making it more receptive to goodness and less susceptible to ingratitude and negativity. 7. Avoiding malice and envy. Do you ever feel envious or harbor ill feelings towards someone? A pure heart is free from malice and envy, which can tarnish one's soul and relationships with others. Envy, hasad, is one of the most harmful emotions, and it can lead to resentment, bitterness, and even hatred. Islam teaches that purity of heart involves removing such negative emotions and replacing them with positive feelings like love, admiration, and joy for others' success. The Quran warns against envy, stating, "And do not envy those who are given preference over you." Quran 4:32. This verse teaches that jealousy not only harms relationships but also harms one's own heart, making it prone to negativity. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, further warned, beware. Envy eats up good deeds just as fire eats up wood. Abu Dawud. This hadith makes it clear that envy can destroy the rewards of one's good deeds and weaken one's faith. A pure heart, on the other hand, celebrates the success of others and remains free from negative comparisons. Such a person is content with their own blessings, and does not allow jealousy to take root. By removing malice and envy, the heart remains clean and open to the blessings of love, kindness, and compassion. A heart that is pure refrains from harboring negative emotions and instead fills itself with positivity and goodwill toward others. Cultivating a pure heart is not something that happens overnight, but rather, it is a continuous journey that requires effort, self-reflection, and sincerity. Each of the 7 signs we discuss: sincerity in worship, humility, love for others, forgiveness, contentment, gratitude, and freedom from malice are vital in shaping a heart that is truly aligned with the teachings of Islam. When we strive to embody these qualities, we don't just strengthen our own faith, but also contribute to a harmonious and compassionate society. By making these traits a part of our daily lives, we open ourselves to a deeper connection with Allah, experience His mercy and blessings, and ultimately lead a life filled with peace and purpose. Remember that purifying the heart is not a one-time goal, but a lifelong process. Each day presents new opportunities to refine our intentions, check our behavior, and align our actions with the principles of Islam. Whether we are facing challenges, seeking personal growth, or trying to be better in our relationships with others, it's through continuous self-improvement that we strengthen our bond with Allah. The path to a pure heart is not always easy, but it is incredibly rewarding, as it brings us closer to the true essence of our faith. As we reflect on the signs of a pure heart, let us be reminded that Islam teaches us to remain humble, grateful, and sincere in everything we do. This is the foundation for spiritual growth and a fulfilled life. May we all strive with sincerity and dedication to purify our hearts and live in a way that reflects the love and mercy of Allah. May Allah guide us on this beautiful journey of purification and help us embody the qualities that will lead us to His eternal pleasure. Thank you for joining us in today's discussion, and may we continue to support one another in our pursuit of a heart that is pure, loving, and devoted to Allah.